Okay, we're back to our plain page again. So let's look at adding some stuff to it. Up at the top here, we can put some header information in. There's a couple of ways to do that. We can go in here and edit this thing and call it as, and we have a section name. And we can undo this and summary of general, and we can call this one like important course information. And we can do a summary here. This is where your reference files are linked from. Something like that. And we can save the changes. If we wanted to restrict access, we could do that. A number of things. We'll do this in a few minutes. So we have that. Now it says important course information. If we wanted to do something like put an image in here, we could do that. We could go back into this, and in here we have the ability to insert edit image. We can put Moodle media in here, or we can do an HTML. Also, what you can do in this new one, demonstrate here, is we can do a drag and drop. I have an image that I'm going to copy over here, drag and drop, and add the files here, and we'll just add this one, add the image, create a file resource. Let's just add the image here. So I have these certs. If I wanted to move this thing around, if I go over here and this little cross is a move, and it is a drag, so I should be able to can't drag it above that, but if I wanted to drag it someplace else on the page, I can do that, which makes moving things around in your course much easier than it has been in the past. If you don't get the drag and drop, when I drug that over there, and let's try a different one, I can copy this one, add files here, and you notice that I got a dotted line around that, so I'm going to upload this. Just a little sign there. If I didn't like that, then I just could click, do I want to delete this label? Yes, it's gone away. When I go into here, I can also edit these things. It's on the left hand side. Let's say that we didn't want that. Show editing tools here, and let's say that we want to try to put this stuff in the middle of the page. So we can now do that, and my little GIF file is in the middle of the page, so that we can move things around, format things, put images in. You can have either actual images that you have, or we could do links. Let's try a link out here. Let us go to images.google.com. Let's say we wanted to do something in here, and let's say that we want to put in a network switch. Let's do a network diagram, because since it's our network topology, since it's there. We have all these different topologies here. If I click on one of these things and right click it, I should be able to view the source. I should be able to find its URL, or I can save the picture and then upload the picture. When you do this, you need to be sure that the pictures that you're using are actually ones that you can use. So I clicked on that one. Now I have this thing here. I can go into the properties of it, and in here the address URL, this is the URL, and I can copy it and go back to my course demonstration here, and let's add something, and let's add a resource. Let's go down here. I'm going to add a label, because that's usually the easiest thing to do, to add a picture or something like that. When you click on it, it gives you a description over here on the right hand side. So we can add this thing and put our editing tools in here, and go in here and insert an image URL, and we'll paste that. An image description is topology, we'll call it. And we can now insert this thing, and we can save and return to course, and let's see if we get anything useful here. Yeah, it's pretty good there, but again, let's see if we can center this thing. So we should be going back, and we'll go show there are editing tools, and we'll click on it, and now we're going to center it. And we can go back and insert and edit. Maybe insert and edit. Pause here while it's letting me insert and edit. I think it wouldn't let me insert and edit because it was already there. We can't see a whole lot of it. If you go up here to the upper right hand corner and click, you'll get a full screen edit. So let's click on this thing, and let's go in and insert and edit. And in the appearance, we may want to make it a little bit smaller, top, middle. We can affect what we're going to do here. Let's say that we want it to be 250 pixels. You notice when I change one dimension, the other dimension changes automatically because we constrain the proportions. If you wanted to stretch it, you would uncheck that. And we can update this thing. Should be a little bit smaller now. Click here, go back to where we were, and now we can save and return to course. So with any luck, I have a bunch of them now, huh? We have created some that are in the middle, some that are not in the middle. Let's go back and see if we can make our extras go away. Actually, let's just go and see if we can make our extras go away. Let's go back to the full screen. It's much easier to see. We can see here that I have one image here and one image here. This is the one that we made smaller, so let's make the bigger one go away, and then let's go here and see if we can put this guy in the middle and go back and save and return to course, and we now have our image. You can put images in, you can put headers in, you can create your own images, different ways, different things in order to make the page more attractive. One thing that does happen, if you have a lot of linked images, it can slow the loading of the page. So now that we've put some images in, let's go in and add a couple of things. Let's add a quiz, and again we'll click on the quiz, add, and when we get there we have the ability, let's say demo quiz, and the red asterisk are things that have to be filled in. We could show editing tools, we can do some other things here. Timing allows you to restrict when the quiz is available. This one says it's going to start on the 18th of December at 13:29. Let's say that you had a night class and you didn't want it to start at this time, or you're making them earlier on and you want it to start the 27th of December for whatever reason at 6 o'clock at night, 1800. So we can go in here and say that it starts at 1800. Let's say that we want it to be available on the 27th of December until, let's say 2300, 2329, just because it's there. When time expires, we have a couple of things that happen. Attempts must be submitted. If that happens and a quiz times out on the user, it's probably going to give them a 0. My favorite is open attempts are submitted automatically. When the time's up, it takes the quiz away from them, grades the quiz, and then puts them back into the page. The grade itself, not categorized, we can go in here. Now we have categories. We can put it in the quiz category. Number of attempts, if you want the users to be able to do it more than once, you can do that. And then we would have the ability, if we had two, do a highest grade, first grade, first attempt, last attempt, average grade, however we want to do that. In the layout, the questions, are they shuffled randomly or are they as shown on the edit screen? This would be in the order that you put them in. I've found that shuffled randomly works pretty well because it takes away the temptation to look on somebody else's paper who's sitting next door to you. And you can, new page, you can do every question can be a new page, or you can have them all on one page, which then allows them to just scroll down. The question behavior, shuffle within the questions, yes or no. Questions have deferred feedback. Adaptive mode allows the users to check their answers as they go. I found that that's a pretty good way to do homework. That way, if they get the wrong answer, then they can try again. There is a little bit of a decrement. It takes some points away. A tenth of a point, I think, is the default. Takes a little bit of the grade away each time, which kind of would discourage users from just going click, click, click right down the line. I've seen that happen too. Activity completion down here, students can manually do that. I like to kind of force them into doing something that says the students must receive a grade, because these things are going to grade themselves automatically. Now we've made this and configured a lot of the other things. Okay, we got extra restrictions here. If you want to require a password, you can do that. Prevent students from maybe doing them from off campus when they're not supposed to, or doing them at a time they're not supposed to. The other one is to require a network address, which forces the students to be in a particular location in order to do the quiz. So what I'm going to do now is save and display. And when I do that, edit the quiz, I don't have any questions. I can edit this quiz, but I don't have any questions, and I also don't have anything in my question bank. I don't have any question banks themselves. We can go in and create a new question if you want to write your own, and it does have some math capability, matching, multiple choice, numerical, short answer. Drag and drop gives you the ability, it's actually a drag and drop match. You can go in and drag and drop. Let's just look at what it looks like. Gives us the question text, the general feedback here, and the editing tools, the question and then the answer. This would give you the ability in the editing tools if we wanted to put a picture in, for instance, and have them identify different things. We could do that. And it will give you a random order that these things come up in. So what we need is to get some questions, and there are a number of different options to do that. What we had earlier when we looked at the administration, one of the things we had here was question bank. You can either obviously write your own question. Questions that don't really have any categories, we can create some categories. We don't have a whole lot of demo quiz with a number of categories here. There are other question banks that are available in here, but what I think that I would like to do in this one, question categories for quiz, demo quiz, the default for demo quiz is to import some questions, and to do that we can choose a file. I have a file. We have a number of different formats that are available. Exam view, you can export your files into Blackboard format. They become a .dat file, and then you can upload them from there. Let's go back and see if I can make myself look silly. Let's go back to categories, and then in the default for demo video, which is this particular course, I should be able to go in here, and we have the default, the parent category, and we can save the changes to it, and we should then be able to go in here and create some new categories. Let me find those. Okay, let's give this another shot. Categories. If I go down here to the bottom, which I should have done, the default for demo video, that's this one. We can make this, let's say quiz 1 will be our category. We can have category information if we want, and then we can add the category and go up here. We have a category under here. And in quiz 1, we should be able to now edit this thing, save changes, whatever we want to do with it. The default for the video. And now, with the question bank, the quiz, we have that done. Let's go back to administration, question bank, import. And I'm going to import Blackboard format in this thing. Import questions from a file, Blackboard, choose a file. I'm going to try the drag and drop. Again, I have a file on my machine. I'm going to go find it. I'm going to pause while I do that. Okay, so we'll go to the question bank, import. Sometimes it's a matter of looking at everything that's available. The import category we're going to use here is quiz 1, and now we're going to bring our file over. You have to pick the right file format, and I'm going to pick Blackboard because this is an exported as a Blackboard. There are other obviously different formats that you can use. I'm going to try the drag and drop on this, which I can drag it over here and drop it and import the file. It's going to go through the upload. I'm importing 40 questions, so I have the questions here. I can continue, and now I have questions available. I should now be able to go back to my quiz, which I was creating, and add questions to it. We can edit the quiz, and now when we go over here, we can go into the drop down and go to quiz 1, and we should be able to get the questions from it. Okay, so I go over here in the default, go down here, the 40 questions that import extra credit 1 is the name of it. I now have questions over here. I can go through and individually select questions. The other one is if you teach from the whole test bank and you want different users, different students to have different questions, you can go down here and you can add, let's say we're going to have a 30 question quiz. We can add random questions. Actually, let's say we're going to have a 20 question quiz. We can add random questions to the quiz from that particular bank. If you have multiple banks that you want to add, you can do that. This one's random question. This would be the random question it would see. Each of the students should then get a number of different questions. So when we go up here to the top, maximum grade, we have two marks 20 questions. The maximum grade would be 100. When we go back to our demo quiz, we can preview the quiz, start the attempt, then we should have the questions that we can do. If the students want to save their work as they go, let's just do one here. And this is, remember, we allowed them to check. We can check here. And that wasn't the correct answer. Actually, that was one of the correct answers. Following form factors most commonly found. Let's see, and we check it, and it tells us that we missed it, and that it is going to the penalty of 0.33. So this one has a penalty of 0.33. So if we found it on a laptop, so I got to read the question. It's always helpful when you read the question. And now I got 0.67 out of 1. Again, that would discourage the users from just going down, click down the down the line to just get it done and get a grade for it. So now if we wanted to save it and come back later, since we have it open for a number of hours, correct, and we saved the answer so that I can go away and then come back and finish the quiz. If I now go to the gradebook, actually I won't because I'm not a student, instructors won't show up in the gradebook. So that's the way we put a quiz in. And you notice that I did the tracking. What tracking does is allows the students to see what they have done. And I said that they had to have a grade, and since I did it the first time, they got the grade, but they can continue with it. So I put the checkbox in that says that I have completed that particular activity. If we wanted to put something in, an assignment in that the students actually uploaded a paper with, and let's say this is a term paper, and we want to say, and you notice You do have to put a description here. If you want the description to show up on the page, you can display the description there. Allow submissions from to. These are due dates. If you want them to not be able to submit late or not be able to submit after a certain date, you need to do the cutoff date, and by default it is not enabled. Submission types, online text, file submissions, submission comments. So what you're telling them is you want them to upload a file. Feedback types, and this is one that you will need to turn on, otherwise you won't be able to give feedback, and I just turn them all on just in case I want to do things. Usually you're just going to have feedback comments. The activity completion on these, I usually will go in that the students must submit this activity, because submit and grade, if they have to have a grade, that means that I have to have finished grading it before that can happen. And it didn't do something, or it says required, a description is required, and I do a description in here. Something it didn't like, their required fields that are marked. Let's try a little different description, see if it likes me this time. Save and return to course. And we're back to the course, so we have the term paper and the demo quiz. Those are the two primary grade elements I think that most people use. You can also configure that activity as an offline if you don't want your students to submit it, if they're going to give presentations or speeches or whatever else, and you can go back in and give grades. You don't actually have to set it up that way. You can always go in and give a grade on something. Actually, we'll go ahead and stop here. Those are the two primary things that we're going to use, I think, for grade elements. With that, I want to stop here and thank you for watching.